Hello everyone, welcome back. We are wrapping up the readings that we've been doing for Alicia Jackson, exploring the circumstances surrounding her the attack that took her life. We're going to be discussing that and wrapping up the reading here. Please be sure to check out parts 1 and 2 to get the background story of what happened to her, also to see my oracle readings that I've done, and the first part of the tarot and oracle reading that I did. So you don't want to miss them. You definitely need to check it out. And actually, these cards here, these were from part 2 of the tarot and oracle reading. So the tarot and oracle reading is part 2, the first part of, and then this is the last part, part 3. These cards had jumped, and so I couldn't understand at first what this card meant. Money, I was thinking, oh, well, more money resources need to be thrown, or maybe, thrown to law enforcement, or maybe the person responsible was paying off people. I didn't know. But as I started to shuffle the cards from all the rest of the decks, it started to come to me. It was around Christmas time that this occurred, right? So it was like maybe a couple of weeks away, Christmas was going to happen. And the worry from the person who did this was ramped up. They weren't feeling like they were going to have enough money. They felt like they were going to be on the outs if they, Christmas is coming, and it just started to really snowball. And this was all related to a bicycle. Like maybe, how kids have little trikes or little bikes or little things, their first little bikes that they ride on. And so, I don't know. I just felt like maybe this was planned, and that it was about a money exchange or always needing money, and then it was over Christmas gifts. Or maybe it was like, let's discuss Christmas gifts. Let's discuss Christmas gifts. Let's talk about money. Let's talk about what's going to happen, when you move. Because this person felt like they had some sort of claim over the money in that household of the female victim. Okay, so that's what I started to percolate on. I always trust that if certain cards come up and I'm intuitively called to keep them on the table, that the messages will be revealed later on. They may not be clear now, but they will come up later for me. So that's what happened. So all right, you all, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to pause here for the intro, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to be shuffling these cards back into the deck and getting ready for the next part of the reading. Thanks for joining me. Okay, so now we're moving on to the next questions. Was Alicia's fiance being faithful at the time of her demise? Was her fiance being faithful to her, to Alicia? The Chariot. Was there fidelity in their relationship? The Sun. I would say this is a good indication. I'll pull an oracle card. That at the particular time of their relationship, it looks like they were both like moving on one accord, coming together for a common goal, and that it was looking up, it was looking good, it was looking optimistic in their relationship, at least from fidelity on her fiance's part. Okay, so finances and career affecting your love life. So baggage is affecting the union. So of course it doesn't come without problems, but these are cards that are indicating that there was infidelity on his part. And I would venture to say that Alicia was probably being faithful as well, but I'll double check, okay? But finances and career affecting your love life, this is about the relationship. He felt financially responsible for this particular relationship he had with Alicia. And this was, they've both felt strongly about their career growth. Okay. Baggage is affecting the union. There was baggage. He stepped out on the relationship. So there was always this kind of percolating underneath. But at the time of her passing, they were in a good place, at least on his behalf. He wasn't engaging in anything going on up at that point. Okay. So he had been, at least, I would say, in terms of fidelity, at least from the time of the chariot to the time of the sun. So the chariot represents like this timing of June 21st to July 20th, and the sun represents July 21st to August 20th. So this was from that point forward through the summer, and I don't know if beyond the summer he wasn't, I don't know. But at least here, during that time period leading up to the time she passed, her fiance was being faithful to Alicia. Okay, let's move on to the next question. What about Alicia's spirit? Was she being faithful in the relationship? Was she being faithful? And I'll tell you why I'm asking this question after we see what cards jump. Okay. I sense that she was, but she felt conflicted about this relationship. The King of Cups to me signifies that she was. Children. Yeah. She was too much of a caring parent to her child to do that. Like, family was very important to her. And the Five of Wands is probably, like if she didn't have a child, she might not feel so loving and charitable towards her fiance for cheating on her. She felt probably a little conflicted about this relationship because of it. But I sense that the card next to it is saying, okay, she may have been feeling conflicted at times, not all the time with this Five of Wands, and it would be in short bursts of times. But overall, in terms of being faithful to her fiance, she was. And it's because she really was an emotionally mature woman. Okay? And her child meant a lot to her. You need to set healthy boundaries. What this is speaking to is that she either didn't have healthy boundaries with her fiance, or she didn't have healthy boundaries with someone else that needed to have healthy boundaries, or she could have been starting to have healthy boundaries, and that could have been what led to a conflict. Okay? With their child being nearby. She should, it's like it may have been too little too late in setting healthy boundaries. I think Spirit is also not just speaking to this question, but speaking to what may have led up to what happened to her. It was almost like maybe she may have been too forgiving of the parties involved in what happened with the infidelity with her fiance and the person he had another child with. Okay, thank you, Spirit. So I wanted to see if we could get any attributes about the person who may be responsible. So we're going to see who attacked Alicia's spirit. What are some attributes, some traits, some characteristics about this person. Revenge. Revenge. This is a vengeful person. And look, a female. Revenge. This is a female who was seeking revenge. Okay. And what I will say is this, is that if it's revenge, then to me that implies that it is personal. I hope this person, okay, I think they're moving along. Lots of background noises. My apologies, you all. I have the window open to stay cool because I have the lights on, and actually I'm going to have to close the windows. Hold on. I'm closing the curtains so I can have a little more privacy. Window's still open, so you may hear noises, but the curtain is closed so I can have privacy and people aren't staring at me as they walk by. Okay, so yeah, this is a vengeful woman. Look at this. So she was stabbed. Alicia was stabbed over 30 times to her upper body, her face, her neck, her chest. And when I was doing some gazing at her pictures, I'm gazing at the flame, glazing through my crystal ball, I was picking up on the fact that it was a sneak surprise attack on her. On Alicia. Revenge. This person was quite vengeful. That's what motivated them. And it's like, revenge for what? You know, revenge for making the decision to move on. Someone with an oval face. Someone who wore glasses or who wears glasses now. Anything else? Physical attributes. I think with that tumble, that tells me we're done with this deck. Any other attributes about this person? So, I just see something here. 1 second. This one needs to go back over there. So, Spirit, any other attributes? Okay. Is there any positive attributes or physical attributes, traits, characteristics about this person? Okay, I'm called to stop shuffling now. And anything else from this deck? This is a real connection. So let's talk about this. We already know like the motive behind this energy of this person doing this to Alicia. Like, so we already have that. This person has a distinctive oval face. Female, but oval face, narrow face. This person either wore glasses or should be wearing glasses because they need to. They need a prescription, or maybe they wore glasses as a disguise when they were leaving. And we see this because of the 2 pairs of glasses here. He's wearing shades. This person's wearing glasses. Like, this is like, something really significant about their identity. Some things about this person, though, and I think this is why Alicia's fiance, and I'm not naming him, because he was not named even at this point as a suspect or a person of interest from what I can tell at the time of this recording. So I'm not going to indicate his name. But I think her fiance it was a turnoff to him that this person who did this was not taking life seriously. He did know this person on an intimate level, because we asked that in part 2 of this little series around Alicia Jackson. And he just, in terms of, it was like night and day when you compare. I feel like Alicia, from all accounts, was the total package. She was the one you want to marry and build a life with. Whereas you have this other person who didn't always seem to be taking life seriously, taking goals seriously. As a result, she never felt good enough. She never felt like she could compare. And she feels like, she feels revenge, like this person stepped in, and if she wasn't in the picture, then she would have more of a chance. And so this is revenge. This is revenge. Clearly, with an attack of 30 plus times with a knife stabbing. And then have the wherewithal to do this in front of her baby. Then also have the wherewithal to clean up enough to not leave a lot of different kind of evidence that they were there. And then took the computers and the phone. Where was, if this person had children, where was the child or the children at? Were they in daycare? Does the daycare worker know something? Maybe a grandparent or a friend. This person wanted revenge. Clearly, 30 stabbings. Oh, you wanted revenge. This was personal. And this card affirms it. Not taking life seriously. We talked about that one. Total package. She wanted to be the total package. But what? She never felt good enough. She never felt good enough. She never felt like she could, she was enough. She was, not taking life seriously for whatever reason. And this is a real connection. She had a real connection with either Alicia or Felicia. I have someone else on the brain. Alicia, my apologies. She had a connection with the fiance. That's why I said Felicia, because I was combining fiance and Alicia. So this is a real connection. Again, this is pointing to, this was not some random attack. This was from a female. All this female energy depicted. This affirms what the law enforcement has already slightly released to the public. Okay. They just said this was, a vicious attack, likely done by a female, a woman. Okay. All right, so now we're going to look at why was the 2 laptops and cell phones stolen? I think that's important to know. Why? What was behind? What was the reason? 5 of Pentacles. Let's see if this deck produces anything. Why were the laptops black hair? Person with long hair. Long black hair. Wait a minute. I saw something in this deck, but I guess I didn't. 5 of Pentacles on the outs, being put out, being cast aside. And so there's evidence on those devices about that. Prolonged evidence. Faded, yeah, I was just about to say someone was suffering and making it known through those devices. Fated to suffer. Again, female. Maybe they wore their hair long in long braids. but it was black hair. Is this a female again? Yes, female. So there was evidence showing, physical evidence or evidence in terms of exchanges, some information on the devices, and it was within hours leading up to the disappearance. I suspect that Alicia knew that this person was coming by. She unlocked the door. She knew this person was coming by because they were going to be talking about something. She was going to once again try to reassure this person. And so the person thought, oh, if I take these devices, this will, this will keep people from really knowing that I was over there. This person was really cunning, if you think about it. Fated to suffer. Fated to suffer is speaking to, she also wanted great suffering for Alicia and even those who loved her. Maybe not so much, it's because of her own suffering. This person felt like she was suffering and her suffering needed to end. And what way to end it than to cause harm to her and then to go ahead and live out her life as if it didn't happen, calling the storm. There's evidence of calls, of emails, of exchanges. And that's why I was, in part two, I was frustrated because I'm like, well, I know in 2010 law enforcement would have, I would hope that they would be not just needing the devices. That is the smoking gun, of course, if whoever had the devices is the one who did this. But also, were you looking at social media records? Were you looking at emails? What were you doing? Were you, if it was someone who you suspected was close to the situation, did you get a subpoena or a warrant to search the home? And did you get a, subpoena for like the records from the social media companies and the phone records? I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm no investigator, but I'm just hoping these questions have been answered. I'm hoping, because that's really sad if it's not. Okay, if that's not the case, I should say. And so I'm now going to ask Spirit, what evidence can crack the case? What evidence will be able to crack this case? Black magic. Let's see. Swamp. I was hoping that they were going to give some more concrete. Paperwork. Let's see if this deck has anything. What evidence, Spirit, will be able to crack this case? And if nothing comes from this deck, we'll just work with what we got, This is not. I'll put this one to the side and shuffle this half. What evidence, Spirit, can crack this case? Of course it falls. If nothing produces from this deck, then we'll just use what we got. Maybe a tarot card. We'll just stop there. Black magic, swamp. Maybe the weapon was thrown or tossed to a nearby body of swampy water or an area nearby where the crime occurred. Black magic is about maybe, yes, we want to pray for justice for Alicia, but maybe it's time to for those who may be involved who are believers, maybe it's time to incorporate some justice magic. Magic to bring about justice. because it maybe it's also speaking to there could be evidence in this person, around this person, that indicated that they were so vengeful towards Alicia and so mad about how things were unfolding and feeling so left out that they could have been wishing ill all along on her. So is there evidence of that? What evidence would show that? Paperwork. Paperwork? Where would paperwork be? Well, cell phone records, bank records, email exchange records, social media DM records, social media posts and comments and replies, paperwork. Were there court documents filed? Was there any accusations being made from any of the parties? Was there someone who about to file some form of legal action? And what was said in those filings? What was going on? There's paperwork. There's critical information that also details. It could be letters or some other form of paperwork between the perpetrator and their loved ones about the moments leading up to and after the vicious attack on Alicia. And exploring the relationship angle again, because this card jumped. It says lust, temptation, infidelity. This is not to say that her fiance, Alicia's fiance, was being a cheater, because we asked this over here. This is saying that past infidelity, and there's paperwork that's been hidden or under somebody, detectives are swamped, paperwork that they're just blatantly ignoring this whole element. And maybe they're not. Maybe they know and they've only law enforcement was only able to push this so far. I don't know. But swamp is also speaking metaphorically in terms of we're going into murky territory here, okay? And what that means is that the abyss of this family unit, the relationship, and finding the answers there in key paperwork. Who was wishing ill on Alicia? Who was revengeful? Who wanted her to suffer? Who felt like they were suffering? Who was that? And there's your answer. And the critical evidence is in the paperwork. You would think it would be in the glove that we saw in part 2, and I discussed that, but I don't know. There's also something that would close the deal. Okay. I'll reshuffle this. And spying came up. It fell to the floor, but this is how. I'm not going to lay it on the table, but this is how the officers could do this. They could go back and re-interview this particular perpetrator, let them know that they, have taken another look at this case, new eyes, new technology, and they want to ask her some more questions about the infidelity, about how she was really feeling. They know what was going on, and from there, they spy on her. They spy, follow her actions, see who she talks to, because right now she's been feeling safe because the case has gone dormant and cold, but this person who's responsible will slip up. She will, if given the right pressure. Okay? All right, so that leads us to the final question. What's next for this case? Okay, so I'm going to pull from the tarot. What's next for this case? 7 of Cups. Okay, I'm going to reshuffle too many cards. Make sure. What's next for Alicia Jackson's case and the pursuit of justice in this case? I don't know. Kind of called to stop for a moment. We can revisit that if we need to. Minding the time. What's next for this case? Okay. Anything else? I'll tuck that away. Missing person, again, it's just kind of confirming what I'm about to talk about, but I don't need to lay it on the table. What's next for this case is I do sense that there is a renewed interest, and through the summer, there's going to be a renewed interest, maybe with law enforcement, or maybe with internet sleuths, or people just really pondering all the different possibilities of angles of what direction to take this next, to explore the interpersonal relationships surrounding the victim and surrounding the people who were near her, all of that. But there's still going to be a lot of anguish, at least, for the foreseeable future with the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords represents the timing of months. It represents the season of winter. And even just knowing the season of winter, it's like dark night of the soul. But look at this, mental jail. Someone, maybe over what all the activity, all the renewed interest is in Alicia Jackson's case during this late, the late spring and summer, it's going to start to reactivate some deep-seated anxieties for people or a person closest to the case. And we see that with the mental jail card. Look at that. So this is why in the next several months, it's critical for law enforcement to go back and revisit everything this year and then explore who's cracking under mental pressure. Taking a look at the evidence. This is the evidence card. It's kind of hard to see the word at the bottom. And bank. I talked about this earlier. It said, there's records here. There is maybe even a withdrawal of money that Alicia made to give, because she knew she was going to be home. And I sensed that there was a prearranged visit. Like, it was said that Alicia got off work a little bit early on this Friday to prepare her meal, so she picked up her baby to go shopping to prepare a meal. And her fiance was at the college. I think he was I don't know if he was a professor or taking a master's course. I'm not sure. But all I know, he had an alibi that he was at the university. And he was going to be there till 9 and probably not due back to the house, to the townhouse that they shared, until 9:30 or so. I sense that the person who is responsible, they made arrangements with Alicia beforehand. They made arrangements, and it was likely surrounding money. So Alicia, in her errands, picked up some money and was going to give this because maybe her and her fiance talked about it. He wasn't going to be home. So I hate to say it, and this is all alleged, but he knows a lot more. And maybe it's because the fact that he has 2 children. I don't know if he's having more children since the time of the crime, but he has 2 children to be concerned about and one mother still living. And I don't know if it's become super important for him to continue that relationship. And, not in terms of an intimate romantic relationship, but because there's another child involved. I don't know those dynamics. However, I do sense that he knows more than he's letting on. That doesn't necessarily mean he had a hand in it at all. I don't really sense that he did based on these cards over here. But I do sense that he knows more than he has shared, or maybe he's shared up until a point and he's just held back. But I'm telling you, if law enforcement goes and revisits this and start to comb over things and re-interview people, we talked about that in part 2, they're going to see who cracks and starts to really talk and communicate and say what's been on their minds and for a long time. And it really is in the records here. They really need to circle back, because this is a case that could be cracked. It's really unfortunate that it's gone to this many years and nothing has really moved forward with justice. So that's it, you all. We are done. We are wrapping this up. This was a lot. This was heavy, and I want to thank you if you've watched all the videos in Mystery Mystic Mondays. Thank you. I so appreciate the support. Also, if you stayed and hung with me for this 3-part series for Alicia, thank you so much. Please post about the people that we talk about in these cases, especially if it's an unsolved crime, whether it's a disappearance case that is unsolved, or it is, like Alicia, someone took her life. Talk about it, because when you start doing that, it starts to send out that energy of pressure to the person who is responsible. And eventually, this is kind of comforting. This is another form of justice, not the kind that I was hoping for at this point, but it's really been at peace since all of this has happened. They're always looking over their shoulder, always trying to be one step ahead. And if law enforcement would come on, they could catch up to this person. All right, you all. Well, that's it for now, for real this time. Please do me a favor and hit the like button. It really does help me and the channel. As well as please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I want to hear from you, hear what your theories are, what your intuitive hits are saying, either about, maybe you've done your own readings, or maybe you just have intuitive insights, or you're commenting on the cards. I'd love to hear from you. And if you have any case suggestions, please don't hesitate to let me know of them. You can either leave them in the comment section below, or for a little bit more privacy, or if you want to send me like a link to an article or a picture or a map clipping, you can send that to mysterymysticmondays@gmail.com. The email address is in the description box of this video. All right, you all, thank you so much. Take good care. Much love to all of you. I'll see you around in the next video. Bye.